There's a moment every growing firm hits when the owner becomes the ceiling. Not because you won't let go, but because no one's actual job is to run the place. That's the signal it's time to add your first real second in command. But first, let's talk about how to know if you're there. I am Magdalena Madrigal, hiring specialist here at Legal Staff Now. We've helped over 500 law firms build the teams behind their growth. We're an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company, and our work's been featured in Bloomberg Law. My whole world is helping growing firms build the hiring infrastructure that gets the right people into the right seats before the growth even demands it. And here's the brutal truth. When a firm hits a revenue ceiling, it's almost never because you don't have enough lawyers. If your firm has hit that ceiling, the constraint is rarely a lack of legal talent. It is almost always an operational or structural bottleneck. And that structural bottleneck is usually you. Because right now, every operational decision still passes through your desk. Payroll approval, hiring, client onboarding protocol, budget questions, staff conflict, it all waits for you. And because of that, you're spending more of your week on operations and people management than you are on business development or the high-stakes legal work that actually justifies your rate. It's simple math. When your firm grows, the business owner, you, becomes the bottleneck, leading to a limited growth potential. That's not a personal failing, it's a structural gap. So the signal it's time to hire your first real second in command isn't a specific revenue number. It's when you're running operations by default and not by choice. But because someone has to, and right now that someone is you. But you shouldn't be the person running payroll and approving time off. That's the wrong use of your talent in your time. But before you go ahead and find that leader, avoid this mistake. Here's the mistake. Owners often think a second in command is a senior paralegal with extra tasks. That's not it. A real second in command is a leader whose job is to own operations, people, and execution. This is where most owners stumble. You can't hand off operations vaguely. You have to be crystal clear about what they own and what you keep. You make the strategic bets, which practice areas to invest in, which to sunset, who gets promoted to the next level, major hiring or firing decisions. If you keep stepping in on their operational decisions, you've just created a manager with no real power. That kills the role. Your staff has to know when this person makes a call on how the firm operates, it's final. They're not a messenger checking with you. They're the leader. Now, don't dump everything on them in day one. Pick one operational domain, maybe hiring and onboarding, or cash management, or client intake. Give them real authority and a real deadline. You don't advise or override. You check in at the end of the period to see what they learned and what needs refining. Do they consult the team? Do they move fast? Do they fix problems or come to you with them? You'll see whether this person is ready to scale. Now, if that first month went well, you've got a real signal. Hand them a second domain and build from there. Clio wrote back in October 2025 that the most successful firms invest in operational support. Not just more people, but better systems and leadership structure. Once operations run without you, you're free to build the business, mentor your best lawyers, and take on the cases that matter most to your firm. Your staff stops guessing who they have to go to, and they know that this person runs the day-to-day, and they see you focused on vision and relationships. That's the kind of clarity that builds culture. Once someone owns operations and people management, you're no longer the constraint. The firm can scale because operations scale independently of your time. The best first second in command is usually someone who knows the firm already. Maybe the young associate attorney who's taken on informal leadership or an office manager ready to step up. And best of all, they don't need 9 months to learn your culture, your rules, the team, and their quirks. And once you've chosen someone, don't just hand them the keys. Invest in training, mentorship, and clear feedback. You're building a leader, not just hiring a manager. Make sure to invest in weekly check-ins that let you catch misalignment early and give them steady feedback on what's working. And most importantly, don't ghost them after handing them a domain. Be present and available, but as an advisor, not the decision maker. That difference matters. Growing firms don't scale by adding more lawyers and more chaos. They scale by building a reliable operational structure and putting a strong leader in charge of it. The right second in command is someone coachable, detail-oriented, and already aligned with your culture, not necessarily someone with 10 years of firm management experience. Now your job shifts from running the firm to growing it, and that's when the real scaling starts. If you're at that moment where operations have become your ceiling, book a call. We can help build a team and take your firm to the next level. Talk soon.